there, very good evening and a warm welcome to the news live on Rupavahini ChannelEye. I'm Sharama Screeners.
And I am Tilina Udayaratna. We begin with a quick check on tonight's top stories. Grades 5, 11 and 13 at Western Provincial Schools is set to begin on Monday. Other grades to commence on the 19th of April. The report of the Presidential Commission on Political Victimization tabled at the Parliament. The Prime Minister instructs to formulate projects which could earn foreign exchange. The government guarantees that those who receive the first dose of the vaccine will receive the second dose as well.
On to the stories in detail now, starting off with local news. Minister Professor G.L. Piri says that only grades 5, 11 and 13 will commenced in all schools in the Western Province on March 15th. Accordingly, the other grades expected to be commenced after April holidays on April 19th. The relevant decision has been reached after obtaining the written recommendations of the Director General of Health Services today on the commencement of schools in Western Province. Minister Professor G.L. Piri said that grades 5, 11 and 13 will be commenced in all schools in the Western Province on March 15th as per the recommendations of the health authorities. Accordingly, he said that the other grades in all schools in the Western Province will be commenced after April holidays on April 19th. He said that grade 1 enrollments have already been conducted and relevant classes in the grade are yet to be commenced. The minister said that the grade 1 classes in the schools in Colombo, Gampa and Kaluthara districts will be commenced on April 19th. However, the minister said that schools in other areas in the country will not be subjected to these concerns. Accordingly, he added that all grades in schools island-wide, excluding Western Province, will commence on March 15th.
The final report of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry on Political Victimization during the Yahapalana government's period and the final report of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry to investigate acts of corruption and fraudulent activities during the same period were tabled at the Parliament today. Meanwhile, the debate on the final report of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry to the Easter Sunday attacks are set to commence tomorrow. Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that the first, second and third volumes of the final report of inquiry on political victimization and the final report of inquiry to investigate acts of corruption and fraudulent activities in state institutions during the period from the 2015 to 2018 have been tabled in the Parliament. Opposition Whip Lakshman Kiriyalla said that the evidence related to both the reports have to be tabled in the future due to legal affairs pertaining to the report. He also said that evidence reports related to the Easter Sunday attacks report should also be submitted as the relevant debate is about to be commenced. Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that a clear decision was reached at the party leaders' meeting to commence the debate on the final report of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry on the Easter Sunday attacks tomorrow. Accordingly, 3 days have been allocated for the debate, he added.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa instructed the heads of the Foreign Resources Department yesterday to draft successful projects which could earn foreign exchange into the country. The Prime Minister made these remarks during a meeting held with the heads of the department on the projects initiated using foreign exchange of Sri Lanka. The discussion was held at the Ministry of Finance. Instructing to initiate only successful projects considering the loan repayment when obtaining foreign loans, the Prime Minister informed to draft necessary plans to earn foreign exchange through these projects. The attention of the Prime Minister was directed on the project related to Ocean University. The Prime Minister instructed officials to initiate the projects while considering the development of the surrounding areas. State Minister Ajit Nivad Kabral, Secretary to the Finance Ministry S.R. Atigala, Prime Minister's Chief of Staff Yoshitha Rajapaksa, Director General of Foreign Resources Department Ajit Abesekara and Prime Minister's Coordinating Secretaries to the Ministry of Finance Charit Vijay Singha and Gamanu Karunaratne were present at this occasion. Meanwhile, the official website of the Women's Parliamentarians Collective was launched under the patronage of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa today. The public can access the website through www.slwpc.org. The ceremony was held at the parliamentary premises. Speaker Mahinda Amaradevas, Parliamentarian Lakshman Kiriyalla, Chairperson of the collective State Minister Dr. Sudarshini Fernandopulle and the women parliamentarians of the collective were present at this occasion.
And on news concerning COVID-19, the epidemiology unit says that 737,062 persons have been vaccinated under the COVID-19 vaccination program. The vaccination program has been carried out for the 40th day today. Close to 7,500 people were vaccinated yesterday. Media spokesman of prisons Chandana Ekanayaka said that a total of 5,153 prison officers have been vaccinated thus far. The number of recoveries from COVID-19 has reached 82,753. It is a percentage of 96. Another 2,934 patients are continuously undergoing treatment. 3,806 have left hospitals from the beginning of this month up to now upon recovery. Another 240 COVID-19 recoveries were reported in the country today. A total of 4,789 COVID-19 patients identified from the prisons cluster have recovered thus far. Another 155 COVID-19 patients have been identified today. All patients have been detected as close contacts of the Paliagoda COVID-19 cluster. 7,194 PCR tests have been conducted yesterday. A total of 2,200,529 PCR tests have been conducted so far in the country. A discussion to prepare new health guidelines for the promotion and development of the tourism industry due to the decline suffered with COVID-19 was held at the Ministry of Health today. The meeting was held with the participation of Ministers Pavitra Vanniyarachi and Prasanna Ranatunga. The attention of the meeting was directed on preparing new health guidelines while prioritizing the health protection of the people and the public of the country in the process to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 following the increase of foreign tourist arrivals. Secretary to the Ministry of Health, Major General Dr. Sanjeeva Munasinghe, Secretary to the Ministry of Tourism, S. Hettiarachchi, Director General of Health Services, Dr. Asela Gunawardena, and Director General of the Tourism Development Authority, Dhammika Vijayasinghe, were present on the occasion.
The Cabinet of Ministers has granted approval for the reuse of full-face helmets. The relevant approval has been granted after considering the recommendations presented by the health authorities in this regard. Co-Cabinet spokesman Minister Udaya Gammanpilla briefed in this regard while addressing the media briefing held to announce the Cabinet decisions held at the Government Information Department today. Co-Cabinet spokesman Minister Udaya Gammanpilla said that the motorcyclists are the majority victims of road accidents. He added that 330 persons have died from road accidents in 2019, which is narrowly fewer than the COVID-19 victims, which prevailed for more than 1.5 years. Accordingly, he said that the health authorities have pointed out that the ban of full-face helmets has largely contributed on the severity of the road accidents. Therefore, he said that the approval was granted to lift the ban of full-face helmets by the Minister of Transport, considering the health authority recommendations. The Cabinet of Ministers granted approval to commence the constructions of Ruwanpura Expressway, which is scheduled to be built from Kahatoduwa to Palmadulla via Ratnapura. Under the first phase, a length of 24.3 kilometers will be constructed from Kahatoduwa to Ingiriya. The first phase will be completed at a cost of 47,000 million rupees. Cabinet ministers also approved the establishment of a National Committee for Management and Regulation of Early Childhood Education. The committee will be vested with the responsibility of decision-making for national-level regulation, supervision and guidance in regard to preschools, early childhood development centres and daycare centres. The Cabinet approval has been granted for the continuation of concessions granted for inter-provincial bus services until March 31st. Accordingly, the update charges, delay charges, tender fees, log clearance fees, entry fees and fees of expressway temporary permit have been waived off from bus operators. The decision was reached with the aim to continue inter-provincial bus services in the face of COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, Cabinet of Ministers has granted approval to establish a new company to direct local products to foreign markets. Accordingly, the approval has been granted to register the new company with 100% shares in Lanka Salusala and to implement a program to promote local products, including batik products, handloom textile and local apparel products through showrooms and representatives of the company.
Minister Mahindanand Badalugama says that the government is expecting to provide rice at a price rate of 97 rupees during the upcoming New Year season. He made these remarks during a media briefing held at the Ministry of Agriculture today. A total of 3 million metric tons of rice is expected from 5 million metric tons of paddy harvest this year. The annual required quantity of rice for the consumership is at 2.3 million metric tons, resulting with an excess of 660,000 metric tons of rice this year. The national program for the purchasing of rice will be carried out from the 8th of March until the 7th of April. Accordingly, priority will be given for Ampara, Anuradhapura, Kurunegala, Polonnaruwa, Hambantota and Batticaloa districts. The minister has requested the farmers to sell their paddy harvest to the Paddy Marketing Board without resorting to intermediaries.
A program has been initiated with the mediation of Minister Namal Rajapaksa to repatriate all Sri Lankans stranded in Dubai and Abu Dhabi states. The minister is currently engaged in a tour to UAE at present after inquiring into the stranded Sri Lankans currently staying at a park near the Sri Lankan embassy. The minister has said that all Sri Lankans who have lost their jobs due to COVID-19 and those who are suffering from various illnesses are unable to return to the country for a long period will be repatriated in the near future. Facilitation of air tickets and necessary services was carried out with the mediation of the minister. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga and State Minister D.V. Chanaka have also assisted in this process.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa directed instructions to relevant authorities today to expedite the process to improve the city of Matara as a commercial and tourist destination and establish the administrative city in Kotavilla. The Prime Minister made these remarks while taking part in a discussion held today at the parliamentary premises on the development projects initiated in the Matara district by the Urban Development Authority. Issues pertaining to development projects carried out in Matara Newtown, Akurassa, Devinuwara, Dikwella, Kamburupitiya, Kirindapoolwella, Tihagosa and Badalugama areas were taken up during the discussion. Development projects of the UDA are underway in 7 local government institutions out of 17 in the district of Matara at present. Accordingly, officials of the Urban Development Authority informed the Prime Minister that the Matara Municipal Council and Divisional Council, Badalugama Urban and Divisional Council, Devinuwara, Hakmana and Malimbada Divisional Secretariat divisions will be developed accordingly. The officials pointed out that the illegal constructions on either side of the Nilvala River have hindered development activities. The Prime Minister instructed the Director General of the UDA to resume all development projects in Matara which had been suspended during the previous government's period. Attention was directed at the discussion to divert all other treatment facilities to the new hospital currently being constructed in Kotavilla, while allocating the present Matara General Hospital only for emergency treatment facilities. It was revealed during the discussion that the Kotavilla Hospital project was suspended during the previous government's period after completing the construction of 9 hospital buildings in the premises. Accordingly, the Prime Minister informed the authority to immediately resume the relevant constructions and expedite the completion of the project. Taking part in the discussion, Minister Johnston Fernando instructed the officials to develop the Godagama Junction Kamburupitiya Road into a 4-lane road and the Kamburupitiya Kotavilla Road into a 2-lane road. In the meantime, Minister Dalla Salaha Peruma said that the new Matara Court complex currently under construction in Kotavilla is expected to be completed and declared open in the near future. The Prime Minister informed the authorities to construct a building with office facilities for lawyers in parallel to the project. Minister Dalla Salaha Peruma pointed out that the building projects at the Matara Mahinda Rajapaksa Vidyalaya, which were initiated at a cost of 700 million rupees, are currently in a dilapidated condition after the previous government halted these projects. The attention of the government was directed on using solid waste gathered up to 80 tons in Matara and Badalugama towns on a daily basis to generate electricity in the near future. The first, second and third phases of the Nilvala River Bank Garden, which is currently under construction at a cost of 632 million rupees, is expected to be completed on the 31st of March. The fourth phase of the project will be continued as a combined one. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa directed his attention on the development of the Kamburupitiya town, including the widening of the entry road up to 66 feet with 4 lanes and the development of the Kamburupitiya Mahavidyalaya. The Prime Minister instructed the authorities to allocate plans to include a playground consisting of a 400-meter running track when developing the Kamburupitiya Mahavidyalaya and other schools in the country.
Former trustee of the historic Badalugama Rajama Viharaya, the chief Sanganayak of the Uva Vellasa 2 districts and chief incumbent of the 5th milepost Minipe Sri Sandagal Viharaya, Dharmakirti Sri Venerable Pallevela Sri Sumana Jyoti Thera passed away at the age of 77. The remains of the late Thera is laying at the Minipe Sri Sandagal Viharaya at present. The late Thera rendered his services in the capacities of Director of the Buddhist Development Board of Uva Province and Chairman of the Tri-Sect Bhikkhu Association. The final rites of the late Thera will be held on March 11th at Minipe 5th Milepost Cooperatives Building from 2 p.m. onwards. Minister K.L. Rambukwala has said that the demise of the Venerable Pallevela Sri Sumana Jyoti Thera is a great loss to the Buddha Sasana in the country, who had rendered benevolent services for the betterment of the Sambuddha Sasana. The minister made these remarks while issuing a condolence message over the demise of the late Thera.
The final rites of the wife of late Pandit Amaradeva, Vimala Amaradeva, was held at the Borella Cemetery this evening. She was 86 years of age at the time of her demise. Born on the 5th of December in 1934, late Vimala Amaradeva entered into marriage with late Pandit Amaradeva in 1963. Contributing for late Pandit Amaradeva's researches and studies on music, late Vimala Amaradeva was a renowned singer, and an in-depth knowledge in folk music traditions was her forte. She has lent her voice for many musical creations inspired by folk musical rhythms, including Date Karagata and Ranvan Karal Sale. She was a mother of 2 daughters and 1 son. Her remains were kept at a private funeral parlour in Colombo, and many artists, ministers and parliamentarians attended the funeral to pay their last respects to late Vimala Amaradeva. Well, that's it from the Rupavahini News Desk for tonight. Join us once again tomorrow. Until then, thanks for watching. Have a great night.